allow me to say this first. For those who are just new or don't have the basic background, what we are talking, you can go over and check in our record video on our YouTube channel, which is called GTM or Great Teaching Monk. It's on the playlist. Check on the Buddhist Knowledge. Check on the playlist Buddhist Knowledge. Okay. And after this, when this session is over, we will also post it in there as well. So as a way, so you can also review and also learn from that. This course is designed to go along with the practice of meditation. However, it is not entirely Buddhist alone, but also meditation. Once you practice, it will help you understand more clearly and better. In the previous session, we have mentioned about the Buddhist cosmology. Before that, the law of karma, then the Buddhist cosmology and the time scale of the universe and rise and fall. These are connected. Everything are connected through the karma. Therefore, understand on this part, we understand the essence of the practice of meditation. So that's today gonna go further. Everyone understand this, that every life and all beings are governed by the law of karma. But when it's gonna be over, how can get out and break through of this? What are the requirements? What should we do? We know about it from the previous session now that practice of meditation can help our mind become still. The more we can gain stillness inside, the better quality of our mind. And it improves the way we think, the way we speak, the way we act, and also making our life much better and more happy. But is that all to it? Well, let's find that out today in our session, 10 perfections. However, let me share the screen just for a few moments. Okay. Sharing screen now. Okay. 10 perfections. This is something, okay. I couldn't see my, excuse me, everyone, just one moment. All right. I have to change the screen a little bit. Okay, better. 10 perfection. These are supplemental courses that allow you to learn and open your perspective in the view of Buddhism, that allow you to improve in the quality of your mind and the practice of meditation much better. Because sometimes when you practice meditation alone, you may be wondering, is this all? Well, as I said earlier, it's not all. There are more. So that's, here come 10 perfection. Before we go into perfection, let's take a look at what is good deed first. It is the basic of everything that comes into that. A good deed described in Buddhism is an action that does not create problems for oneself and others. So that's what we go over in the previous session about the law of karma. We will learn that what is the action that is defined good in Buddhist view. If you're doing something good, but the other not happy, that doesn't count as a good deed. If you're doing something not good to yourself, but good to others, like being a superhero maybe, you know, something like great power comes with great responsibility. Well, of course, that's not happy neither in Buddhism. If you're doing something not good for yourself, not good to others, that's definitely evil, isn't it? Not good neither. But the good deed defined by Buddhism is something that is make yourself happy and others happy. This is something, it's called good. So when you do good deed, what would happen? Well, it would give rise to the merit. In Buddhist, we call this as punna, or Sanskrit. But in Thai, they call this bun, B-O-O-N, bun. In Pali or Sanskrit, they pronounce as punna. Okay, this is a good deed in Buddhism defined. So when one talk about punna or merit, it not only mean good, but it is something more. It is the substance that cleanses and improves one's nature and also the quality of that person, the quality of his mind or her mind. This is punna or merit. Well, after this session, if we have time, I'm not going to pull any longer, but if you have to go, don't worry. The thing is, we like to do some discussion to help clarify. If you have questions, something that's not clear, keep that in mind and type it on the chat box so that way we can discuss on that after this, okay? It's Saturday, right? You don't have to go anywhere, do you? But I'm sure you're going to have to go to lunch and have to go to bed. So we're going to finish before that, all right? So have some discussion first before we leave, okay? So as for making merit of punya, cleanse the mind and cleanse one's nature, it can do by 3 ways: physical conduct, verbal conduct, and mental conduct. It is something that can be only done through merit, making merit, okay? So through your mind, your speech, and your body, that is the thing that's going to create merit, okay? Now, if you want to go further in detail, I also taught and already finished these sessions on GTM podcast. You can learn that. Blessing files already finished, talking all in detail about the merit. So you can learn further in detail about this. What is the result? What is the function? Everything like that. It will tell you in there. So go check that out. There are 6 episodes in this, and Blessing 6 starting in with the goal of life already start. So take a look at that as well. Okay. So the whole thing is all connect. So if you want to learn further supplemental, GTM podcast is the answer. All right. Now, getting back to our session. When we talk about punna or bun, it usually go with this term kusala, which is mean it's the kind of merit that earned with intelligence and wisdom usually go together. In other words, when you're doing bun or doing good deed, but sometimes it's not with intelligence or wisdom, it's not in a, I would call it good bun or good merit, but it's not in higher quality yet. We talk about perfection here now. We're not talking about regular bun or normal bun. So punna kusala usually go together. It is another higher form of merit that when you do it with good intention, with wisdom. For example, if you see a beggar, you feel pity. Or if he come begging you, giving you some money, I'm hungry. So you just feel pity for him. You just give him the money. But when you are giving the money, is that all? That's become merit already. But if with punna kusala is higher, what happened in here is that you have intention. I must help this person to be able to help himself, not just begging all the time. Here, are you interested working? Maybe I can show you where you can apply for the job. So you don't have to go become a beggar anymore. Would you be interested? With good intention, with intelligence, with kindness that you want to help a person, this become punna kusala. Okay, and oops. When it's being earnest more and more, it becomes to a higher level. In this, when you do it more and more, it becomes higher quality of merit. And not only that, it's going with you, with your mind. Whenever you pass away, it's go with you too. But if you die, you cannot bring your possession, your wealth, your money, you cannot. But this merit, it go with you. But it's the same thing. If you do evil deed or bad deed, it go with you too. That's this. We talk about positive side here, so we're gonna talk only on this, not the bad side. Okay. So this punna kusala, if you die, it go with you. And once it's been accumulated at a certain extent, it become what we call now perfection or parami. In other words, doing bun normal without thinking, without intelligence is only bun. But you want it higher, you're gonna have good intention with it. This will make it become punna kusala or parami. Okay, so that's when you are practice this parami. In fact, we are gonna talk about this today. There are 10 of them together. You must do all of this. You can do one, you can do two, it's all right too. But if you reflect upon your life right now, you will see now what you are missing. Which one of the quality that is been missing? You can reflect on your life. Some has less patience, some doesn't have a goal, some have a lot of happiness and kindness. Depend on each individual because we are different, and this is what makes us different. So therefore, parami, if you practice all this or 10 together, it will give rise to a sphere inside. This is called parami sphere, okay, at the center of your body. In other words, at your home for your mind. Each of us don't have the same parami. The size of the sphere also different. This according to the wisdom we learned from our great master. If you're interested to learn who he is, how does it come to, check out on our podcast right now. It here about to searching for meditation, episode 5 coming, everyone. So now, but getting back to our parami. So parami has 10, and if it whenever you practice, it will give rise to a parami sphere inside your body. You cannot see it with your naked eyes, but you can see it when your mind are still, and it will be clearly. But you got to be very, very still, not just 1 second still, okay? But it can be seen. So parami of perfection. Speaking about this, why it is so important? Well, one thing for sure, if you want to be a Buddha, you're gonna have to have this. But if you don't want to be a Buddha, don't worry. At least you must practice and train your mind to the full extent. It gives rise when it's become full. It's about having a diameter around 33 centimeters. If you have that much, that means you are perfect and you are free to live the cycle of existence or rebirth. In other words, parami of perfection, they are the requirement allow you to get out from this rebirth. And that can only do this. You can only see it through your through meditation. But you must do this while you are alive as a human being too. That's the requirement. So that is why you will still each other, because we are having the perfection but not perfect yet. All right. So each of us has to continue living our life, try to accrue this. So what are they? Well, because we go further than that, there are 10 parami, right? But there are levels of that too. Level of parami is going to 3 levels, and they are basic, medium, and ultimate. Okay, this level, if you combine 10 levels together with 3, that will be 30 parami that we need to collect or accrue in order to perfect ourselves. Once we get this, then we are free from the cycle of rebirth. If we have not yet, we still see each other until now. So it doesn't mean that you can do it in one lifetime. No, 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 no. If you can go check back in our previous session from last week about the time scale of the universe, that is how long we have been in the cycle of existence, born and die for a long time. In the eyes of the Lord Buddha, he saw that this is suffering indeed, not just suffering because of hunger or because we are sad, but because being reborn and die every time, over and over, until we cannot remember the time, how many times. That is long, long time we have been going through. This is suffering that he meant and see in there as well, not only just crying and starving and dying. So therefore, we have to do this basic, medium, and ultimate. But what and how, we will talk about this in the further detail after this, okay? So then, since there are 3 levels and there are 10, let's take a look at the first parami first. The first one that is considered as the basic, and the basis of all parami is called generosity, perfection. It is known in Pali or Sanskrit as Dana parami. Okay, it is the basis of wholesomeness, provide the foundation for the pursuit of other perfections. It also means to give, to sacrifice, to donate. If you feel stingy, you don't want to share, or you don't want to help anyone, that means the generosity in your perfection are not that great yet. Or also, if one feel, look around, having difficulty with financial, having difficulty to do something good for oneself or others, why so difficult? Check on this. If you are having a lot of wealth, in return, that's because from the result practice charity or generosity. Those who give by the Buddha's words, a person who gives will always be loved by others. If you have many friends, because you give and share a lot. If you have a lot of money, that's because you help and give generosity to many people. As a return, you get a lot as the starting off. So when you have a lot of money, you don't have to worry about yourself. You can do more things. Imagine this, when you're looking at checking back at Bill Gates, for example, he has a lot of money, he can do charity and things. That's because if one has a lot of parami or dana or generosity, as a basic, he can do many things to himself, good and other. This is one thing we can reflect on our life. If we are having difficult life at this time, that means maybe somewhere in there we are not fulfill our parami or the quality of our mind enough just yet. But if we have done a lot, we will have no problem making ourselves doing good deed and others. But is that all, everyone? No. The dana parami has something that need to be clarified a little bit because this is the foundation. So we need to go in more detail. When you are doing charity or generosity or donate or sacrifice something, it needs some requirement for one to get a lot of merits in return. When you are going to give something, make sure if you want to get a lot of result by kind of like if you are an investor, you want to invest less, but you got a lot of profit. Same thing with merit too. You can do a lot of small actions, small amount of donation, but it can give you a lot of merit in return. These are the qualifications. Okay, one, the alms or the material wealth that you are giving is must not harm the receiver and others. Second, the object that you are giving can also be not only the wealth alone, but good advice, knowledge, like I am teaching you right now. I'm sharing my knowledge that I learned that can be benefit to everyone. This is something also considered as a donate object for generosity beside the material. But it must be something that helping others turn into the right view. Right view, we're going to talk about that sometime later on after this and in the next week or maybe after next week. Okay, this is something that we need to be clarified too. And also forgiveness. If you have done something or someone wrong, if you forgive or others forgive you, this is something that can be considered as giving object or donate object. Okay, and speaking about the quality or the qualifications, the amount of money that one can gain, this here are the requirement. One, the alms that you are giving must be pure. In other words, you don't steal, or if let's say you want to donate some money, charity to the poor, the money that you have earned must be come from yourself. You don't cheat or steal for someone or doing corruption in order to do so. Can you do that as well? Yes, but it's not going to be 100% in investment in return. For example, if you steal some money from someone and give it to the poor, what's going to happen is you can be like a Robin Hood. You're feeling good, but it doesn't make the fun who are stealing, got steal from you by yourself to give it to the poor, going to be happy. So it's not going to be 100% good, right? So what's going to happen is the result, you could, instead of getting 100% return, you don't get like 70 or 60% back because, it's not pure. Second, the recipient is pure. In other words, the receiver. If you are going to help someone, that person must be good in conduct. He must not kill or be a criminal. He must not, steal or conducting sexual misconduct or telling lie or, a liar, a scoundrel, or taking drugs, something like that. The recipient must be pure, and also you yourself must also be pure too. You don't kill or observe 5 precepts at least, I would say, and you must have a good intention. You don't want them to do something or get something for you in return. You give because you don't want anything in return. You just want to help. This is a good, or what is meant by pure intention. And last is the key to obtain the large amount. Beside that 4 quality that mentioned here, one more is you must give and feel happy before you do it, while you're doing it, and after you're doing it. As the example, there were someone asked the Buddha, "Oh, Buddha, why a person sometimes he rich in the beginning when he was born, and he rich while he was making himself in the middle age, but when at the end of his life, when he getting old, he was so poor, difficult." The Buddha said that because when that person making charity or dana, he was happy why before and happy during doing that, but after that he feel regret of feeling loss of his money. So as a result, it doesn't give the merit completely. So in the end, as the result, he become poor at the end because he does not happy after he making donation. So in order to make the merit giving the result properly and fully before, during, and after, one must do. But by doing this charity or generosity, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 levels of parami. Okay, the level of dana parami. As for the basic level, to give something, this is basic level parami. Material, that is the basic. But if you give part of your life, your 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 blood, your flesh, your organ, your limbs, your wife, your children, this is the medium level. But the highest level, yes, you can guess, the ultimate level is one's life. This, if one practice without losing regret, happy at the beginning, during, and after, this, surely, parami is fulfilled. That is why it is something difficult to do. That's why not many able to do that. But we see an example now. Some people devote their life to do something good for the other. This can also count. Like for example, you devote your time to help educate the children in the poor country, or dedicate your life to something. This also the ultimate level of parami too. Not only just kind of like do it for my work, and no, you devote everything for the whole life to help others. This is also become dana parami at the ultimate level. Okay. Next, if one has do the generosity until it's allow ones to, don't have to worry about make a living, or you can do things freedom without worry about money. When it's like this, the second parami can do it quite more easier. That is morality perfection. The morality perfection is, well, let's just say with the term first, sila or morality. It is the normal, it is the norm or normalcy that make a human become normal human. In other words, it is the bottom line or the basic or the fundamental quality of the mind, of the person, of the people. If less than 5 sila, it would not be fully human because the quality of the mind are not at the same basic level anymore. So practice the 5 precepts. Well, what it is already mentioned, right? One should not kill, one should not steal, or one should not conduct sexual misconduct, one should not telling lie or using false speech, or taking intoxicant into the body. This is the basic bottom line, become a normal human being again. So this sila is also protect human beings that guard them to do unwholesome things, like whether they are going to do bad thing to their action or their verbal. It is something that guarding one to do that. So if you want to practice meditation more happily, or improve the quality of your mind, this is the bottom line. But to do morality easier, you must have charity. Otherwise, you're going to be worried about your stomach. You're going to have to find food. So if you're going to find food, you're going to have to make a lot of work in order to earn your living. Sometimes you have to break the precept. So therefore, it's all connect, everyone. It also to make yourself become clean from all unwholesomeness that you may have experienced in your life. It guarding your mind, and it help protect yourself to go doing something that would suffer later in the future or in the future existence. Also, observe 5 precepts at the bottom line. If one don't observe this morality, perfection would not be complete. If one can do for the whole day, that's good. For the whole life is even better. Physical unwholesomeness in here is killing, causing bodily injury. In the Sila or precept, the Buddha taught that it is not telling by him that you do not kill, do not steal. The precept of morality in here is that it's meant by avoid or abstention or restraint. Never use the term do not at all, because all of this morality is come from the quality of the person's mind. He must have his free will to execute this action. If he were ordered or forced to do something, it's not morality. It's because he was forced to. It's not like the law. It is something you can choose to do so of your own free will. So that's in Buddhism. It's never say that you must do this, you must do that. It's your own choice. This is the way. If you want to perfect, live your life happiness, morality is the way that you must practice. If you don't, nobody gonna hurt or harm you anything. The law can punish you. The law of karma already record on your mind. No one's forced at all. It's your own free will. Okay. What about the verbal unwholesomeness? It's lying, of course. Divisive speech, in other words, using some speech and making people hating each other. Offensive speech, using the curse words, something that hurting other feelings. And last but not least, nonsensical speech, something that doesn't benefit. For example, I'm teaching this morality and you said, oh, Godzilla and versus Kong is a good movie. It's nonsensical, nothing at all, out of nowhere neither. So this is something that it is not count as a good morality. Okay, so verbal unwholesomeness should be avoided. That's in this level of Sila Parami. The basic and medium level, I think you can do and understand. But the ultimate level is one life. There is a proverb, or no, not a proverb, an analogy in Buddhism that there is a yak, like this kind of animal you see in the picture here. It loves its own fur very much. But when its fur is tangled, it will not move at all until the fur become untangled. Then it will continue again. That's how it loves its fur, its hair very much. Same thing for the person who is practice of Sila Parami or Sila. For the basic, he gladly sacrifice his possession in order to keep himself Sila perfectly. He willing to sacrifice his organ, his limbs, everything in order to maintain his medium Sila. But ultimate level, he willing to sacrifice his life. For example, not telling lies. If someone point a gun in his head, I'd rather die than you forcing me to telling lies. Something like that. This story also mentioned in the podcast. You can go check that out too. Okay. Next one. Now we know about the level of parami and the basic now. We're gonna go into each of them now. See, now our time is already over. Sorry guys, it's gonna be a little bit longer. So the renunciation, what is that? Well, it is something that you renounce the world you want yourself to be living against the stream of the world. It is to abandon the sense of desire. The people at this time in this world, like they're thinking that is common. I'm thinking too before I ordain is that having a family life is the happiest one. In other words, sense of desire is mean craving things that is not conducive to wholesomeness. It's just like a person who is put in jail, unable to be free himself from all kind of uh, sensual desire. Well, as long as we are still into this, we will not be able to break free because let's say if you are, those who like to fashion things, expensive things, or brand names thing, your desire is small. But when you don't have money to fulfill your desire, you're gonna have to do something in order to fulfill your desire, right? Some person, if they can work earnestly, they can get money to pay out for what they want. But if they cannot, what's gonna happen? They're gonna make to break the precepts or do something that can make that desire fulfilled. So that's if one don't practice this, it's gonna be chained into the sensual desire for a long time. So by practice of nekkhamma parami or denunciation, it is like something, a parami or the quality that allow one to be content with what one has. And when he is content, he will have time for more practice of meditation and also doing something good for himself and others. And most important of all is enable one to pursue the rest of the perfection completely easier. So the first one, generosity, is a basic. If you're gonna ordain, let's say you're gonna want to be a Buddhist monk, but your family member are very poor, you have now worry, you have responsibility, cannot ordain as a Buddhist monk because you're gonna have to support the family. Or if you're gonna practice precept, or everyone in the family is very hungry, and you are the only one who are making the living, what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to, working very hard, no thinking of try to meditate, no thinking of do a lot of good things to your life and others. So in the end, cannot cultivate perfection easily anymore. So this, the more one practice of renunciation perfection, is easier for one life to be focused into meditation easier and purify the mind quite easier. Next, wisdom perfection. Wisdom in here, I'm not talking about reading books or listening to monks, listening to some scholar to gain knowledge. Wisdom perfection in here is or panna or panya barami. Parami is it is the wisdom of the true knowledge. It is only be attained when one practice meditation only. It allows one to deeply appreciate the fact that life in the round of rebirth is full of suffering. So one must hasten to perfect the 10 perfection at all costs. Before long, before I ordained, here, whenever I go to funeral, I just feel, oh, okay, I feel sorry for whoever passed away. I don't see anything, just only feel sorry for those who passed away, or someone who are losing their friends or loved one in the family. Just only feeling sorry. But when practice meditation further, you will see the rise of kindness, the rise of the understanding further that, oh, life, everyone born empty. They live their life suffering until the end they pass away. Repeat like this over and over, understand that life has no room for happiness much at all, but all suffering all the time. The happiness that we gain in our life just only temporary, not permanent. But for something for sure in our life, permanent is suffering as we are aging and struggling to make a living in our life to survive too. At this time, especially with all the pandemic is still going all around, our life is still suffering as all it is. So to understand in this part, wisdom would arise. When arise, they will appreciate, try to end this suffering, not struggling to living with it or submit to it. And in the wisdom of perfection here, it cannot gain, like I mentioned, by listening or thinking. Can only through meditation only. And by practice meditation, allow one mind to come to stand still. Until then, it will have enough mental power to penetrate the truth and see the reality of life. And allow one to see the different realm of the existence. So if one ever practice, when one wondered, one gonna see the penetrate to this truth. Just focus on still your mind, and it will come without you realizing it too. So once you gaining it, do not get excited, okay? Because it's the only way for you to penetrate through this wisdom. The more one practice meditation, one will gain on this. If one hardly practice meditation, it will be also be difficult and take a longer time too. Next, endeavor perfection. These are required with every perfection. Virya parami, another name in Pali. It gives rise to the kind of persistency necessary to success or perfection. If one don't have this, it will be difficult to success by accrue the perfection too. And one must endure to perform more and more wholesome deeds. For the story of this, it's a very good story. Stay tuned on podcast. It will be the third story in my to do, okay? Now, there are two kinds of endeavors on these parami that for one must overcome and practice. The one kind is endeavoring to abstain from unwholesomeness. Whatever that making you or tempting you to do unwholesome thing, endeavor must always be. For example, you are a judge. For example, you are a judge. The person A has done something wrong, while the person B is innocent. If you want to give the sentence to person A with the proof and everything, guilty, and let person A win the case, you can do that because you are a very honest person. But when the person A comes say, hey, judge, I give you 100 millions. Let me free. Let me no guilt. Will you do that or not? It is something endeavoring to abstain from unwholesomeness. The second one is endeavoring to continue accumulating wholesomeness. Thus, this is virya parami or endeavor perfection one must always attain. These will give rise to the next perfection that we must continue to practice too, which is patience. Patient perfection is also khanti parami, another name. Is encourage one to continue performing wholesome deeds in spite of adverse circumstance. If one threat to kill you, patience, be still and be still. Vicissitude is a part of life. Vicissitude is something like, if there is a praise, there is a blame. There is luck, there is unfortune. There is, how was it called? There, okay. If there is happiness, there is unhappiness. All of these come in our life. When it is come in our life, what we can only do is remain still and calm, be patient, not letting them to sway. When something bad coming up, if we can stay patient, it's good. But when something good coming up and we smile, It's nothing wrong with that. But if you remain patient, it's better, because up and down, things like this always come and go. Not to let your mind be swayed by these things that tempt your mind. This can also be patient perfection that can help you to overcome. Therefore, it allows us to overcome all kinds of obstacles that come in our life. It must go with the Virya Parami or endeavor too. And thus, it can be compared to the ground, making our mind become like a ground. A ground is like whatever you pour on the ground, it just remain calm, do not think back. Our life is the same too. When something happens, remain calm, be patient. Truthfulness. Once you practice Virya Parami, endeavor, patience, and patience together, it will give rise to what is called truthfulness. Okay, I think it's getting late, but I will try to finish it. So if you have to go, don't worry. You can watch the continue after this, okay? Truthfulness is Satya Parami. It is pursued by being steadfast. Steadfast is when it's come to accumulate wholesomeness for the sake of ending one's round of rebirth. And one must be willing to give up one's life for the sake of one's truthfulness. No matter what is happened, I will be true to my cause. I will try to be true to myself, to my words, my action, and my goal of ending myself from suffering. And this perfection not only is difficult, but it could be, I would say it could be compared to analogy is like a star. No matter what happened on the weather, the star always shine. Shine whenever something bad, something good happen. Always shine. True to its cause. So that's whenever you're gonna decide to do something, be fulfilled to your goal, truthful to your decision, and doesn't do whatever people say bad thing about you. Just always remain true to yourself and always keep to your words. This is truthfulness, perfection one must practice. For example, no matter what, from now on in this moment, I'm going to meditate every single day without skipping a moment. Then tomorrow come, oh, I'm very sleepy. Oh, maybe just do this another day meditation. No, 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 no. If you are truthfulness to yourself, meditation every day, like that. It is something. Truthfulness can be practiced and accrued. Okay. Then when we have truthfulness, next what require is resolution or the goal. If you join my activity every time in the full moon, right? You will see that we make a resolution because our goals are clear. Same thing in our life. For further detail, make sure you study on Lesson 6 on our podcast. More detail on that. Resolution. Okay, have a goal of life. Adithana Barami. It is a resolution that enables one's goal to be realized. One goal must remain clear forever, lifetime after lifetime. For example, as you see in the picture here, for just a regular person wishing, having his goal decide for sure he want to be a Buddha. Sometimes he might forget, but the goal for him to be the Buddha, maybe he don't even know what is the Buddha is. But one thing in his mind is he want to free himself from suffering and help others. That is the duty of the Buddha. Even though he don't know what is the Buddha is like, but in his mind, he want to free from suffering and help others. This is the goal of Bodhisattva or those who wish to become the Buddha. Same thing. If you have this goal in your mind, you want to free yourself from all this suffering. Having this in the mind, lifetime of lifetime, even though you don't know what it is, but you want to be free. This will be continued in your mind across the lifetime. And so, resolution perfection would allow one to be having a better goal. So when one wishes to put an end to suffering by breaking our vow rebirth, one must be resolute in that nothing can overcome between one's and one lofty goal. So just like you are sailing your ship across the ocean, you must have your destination become clear and heading toward that direction. Only then your goal will be realized. Same thing with resolution too. So that's everyone, something new for you today as a homework. When you are doing meditations, excuse me, my throat is dry. When you are practice of meditation, it's also count as a good deed. If you do every day, it's even better. It becomes slowly, bit by bit, until your wisdom perfection. So that's, yes, it is a good deed. You get merit from that. So when you get merit from that, this is when you want to direct your merit. You make resolution to yourself. What you want to do, what you want to be in the present and in the future lifetime. And the goal to end yourself from suffering. Whenever you meditate, before you end your meditation, make sure you make resolution. Okay? This is one of the homework if you're interested to do that practice. As for me, I do every day. Whenever if you see on my Facebook, offering flowers to the pagoda, I make a resolution because I paying homage to the pagoda as an example for me to start making resolution and having that go toward the same person, like a Buddha who end himself suffering. You can do this too when you make a resolution to yourself. Of course, it's free and you don't have to be Buddhist. You can do that too, even you have different beliefs. This is resolution. It's for your own good. That's something I like to advise. If you like to practice, this is the homework for you. Okay. But if you want sure what is the good, you can ask. I can give you some example. Okay. But later on. Now, next, the number 8 is, or number 9 now, loving kindness, perfection. Metta parami. It is to pursue by cultivating love and kindness toward all living beings, friends, and foe alike. Remember, we cannot live alone in this world. We have to rely on each other. And living alone in the world, it doesn't mean that you're going to be survive. You can survive, but it's going to be difficult. But make it easier living together. So in order to live in peaceful and harmony, loving kindness is also need to be accrued. Because if you want to end yourself suffering, let yourself in peace, you must not have enemy. Loving kindness is the key. And also, it is kind of like understanding the fact that everyone in this world and all the beings, even though we cannot communicate, all the insect and animal, fish, birds, cows, pigs, whatever it is, they are just like a suffering. They have to be born, die. So everyone are suffering. Understand and be loving kindness to everyone. Then your life living in this world will be more happy. It is something that can be only achieved, understand by heart. Practice of meditation. At the end, that's why when I guide meditation, I would guide to spread loving kindness. Because when the mind becomes standstill, the unconditioned love will arise. It is meant the mind exactly reaching its true peace. Loving kindness, perfection can done through this way. So if you are having love toward everyone, your parami on this perfection are very, very good. And that can only be done truly understanding from the heart, from the mind, only that been trained and understand everyone's suffering. Less or more depend on each individual. So the more you practice through meditation, it will make you realize the perfection easier. Okay. And last one, the most difficult to be practiced is equanimity, perfection. Some of the Western people, well, many of us who are watching today, may not be familiar with this term equanimity. But in Buddhist term, it's quite common. That's why when you come to Thailand, if you've been visit, it's okay, easy, easy. Because Thailand are having more like this. They don't really care much. Not really, I'm just making joke on that, okay? Anyway, Upekha Parami. It is anyone to exercise impartiality. It means not loving or not hating a person, whether he is for or against us. Because all of us have understand loving kindness, and also everyone have understanding as a foundation that everyone has their own karma. Good or bad depend on each individual. Understand this as a basic ground will allow one to practice equanimity easier. Disregard of who you are. For example, if you want to help someone, for example, this person, she or he has been cheated or tricked, swindled by someone who's, into invest something or stealing our car. Let's say, let me put it this way. Let's supposedly there is this person who is very rich, but someone tricked him or her the money, and you were the middleman. You went in there. No, don't invest the money or don't help this guy. He is tricking you. He's trying to lie to you. But this person doesn't believe you, and you try your best to convince this person not to believe, not to do, but cannot. You try your best, everything. This is when equanimity is practiced. You try your best, but that person has the karma time. He may have done by tricking these other people in the past before. So as the karma, it is something that making that person unable to listen with reason or anything like that. So that's it allow one to have the wisdom to understand the law of karma and constantly at work. So when understand on this fact, equanimity will allow one to let go. But if you do something that, let's say, for example, you see someone begging for your help, but you say, oh, you don't want to help. You just say, oh, I practice equanimity. That is not equanimity, okay? That's because that is heartless. That is heartless, okay? But if you want to help and you try your best, but you cannot, equanimity is when it's come. Understand that everyone has their own karma. It can be compared like a weather, like the wind that blow to every land, everywhere in the land. The wind always blow, but it doesn't be discriminate against anyone. It's just blow by itself. It go by its freedom. It tries its best to please everyone. But if one doesn't appreciate them, it's okay. They just blow somewhere else, like that. So that's if you want to go learn further deeper into this equanimity. In other words, I have done this video with my friend, monk friend, Venerable Sander. Is what do Buddhists means when they say equanimity? You can check it out in our YouTube channel in more detail about equanimity in good questions, good answer. So that's everyone. These are the 10 perfections that we must practice in order to perfect ourselves, our life. And so, hopefully this can be benefit everyone. If you want to go deeper into meditation, yes, do good. But if you want to go perfect and deeper and find the cause why your life are suffering, this can be the answer as well. Let's see, there's some questions coming in. All right, asking by, let's see. Okay. Okay, just one moment. Let me see this. Okay. Oops, doesn't go everyone. Okay. Do you practice each perfection simultaneously, one at a time, like climbing the step? Simultaneously, less or more, up to you. But it must go together. You can do by by step, but somewhere along the way you will see that it's go together. For example, you want to practice generosity, but then you don't have money. So you're gonna have to, work yourself. But when you work, make sure you observe precepts so that way you can earn it correctly. So then sila precept coming up already. Then when you get precept, then you practice charity. And you practice charity, you want to meditate. Oh, have you done something wrong, something bad to your life? And that's gonna be surface in your mind whenever you practice meditation. So in the end, it must go together. It's already automatically go together, some less or more. But still, you can do one step by step. But eventually it go together, less or more. Okay, good. Thank you for really asking. All right. I am really new to this. Is there a list of chants to help discipline the mind to achieve this perfection? Well, chanting, well, you can make copy list of this note that I just shared. However, for this course, okay, right now I have not taught yet about the chanting. But eventually I might have to teach you guys, but that's in the plan. But right now, not yet, because the foundation that I'm gonna lay down for you guys are not ready yet. Okay, but either way, you can count on this by first of all, making a list of these 10 perfection. Okay, but bit by bit, you can check yourself day by day, reflecting on it. Have you done this? How many have you done? The more intense you feel, the better quality of that perfection is better. Or if you do something easier, just remember that you have done that in the previous existence or in the past life before. It is something that you can gauge and level yourself or evaluate yourself where you are at that moment. But if you really want to see how much you have to accrue, meditation is the only key for you to see yourself. But one thing that I learned from my master nun, she taught the disciple in our temple that for one person, supposedly, if one live for 100 years lifetime, okay, the thing about that is, even though you're giving up your life, you put yourself to do the good deed to the extent, the size of the parami sphere that one accrue in one lifetime, and not, the maximum is 1 millimeters, 1 millimeters in that lifetime, but mostly not reaching 1 millimeter yet. So that can say how many lifetime we have to do. But that's only one part of me, okay? Not only not 29 yet. So I'm talking. So each lifetime, make yourself worth by doing your good deed to yourself and others. Only then it can make your life be fulfilled and reaching the goal of ending suffering happier, faster. And this is in the Buddhist concept because no one can help yourself but yourself. Okay, it is something. So practicing like this bit by bit, okay, but eventually I am sure you can reaching that, everyone, if you have willing and determine yourself. All right, let's see what else. Okay, is there anyone else like to discuss? If not, we're gonna go to the discussion. If not, let me finish this what's it called, recording first. So we're gonna go to discussion section later. Pause recording.